Good afternoon everyone and welcome to this APM webinar sponsored by Microsoft and Wellington PPM. We are delighted to welcome Baz Kinder, Commercial Director at Wellington, who is your speaker today. Baz is an experienced Microsoft PPM consultant and Microsoft Virtual Team member with a background in PMO. Please be aware that this webinar is being recorded and that you are in listen-only mode. However, please do participate with the content by writing questions in the questions area of your dashboard. Once the webinar has finished, we will submit all questions to Baz and publish the answers to you via email link. You will receive an email providing the links for the APM webinar recording loaded onto our APM YouTube account and for the slides loaded onto our APM SlideShare account. So, without further ado, I'm delighted now to hand over to Baz.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Kay. And good afternoon, and thank you for joining this webinar today. Again, my name's Baz Kinder, and to reiterate, the session is being delivered by Wellington and is sponsored by Microsoft. Now, despite the title and the timing, saying as it's nearly Christmas, this isn't a retelling of A Christmas Carol and doesn't feature Scrooge. However, we will be looking at the past, present, and future of Microsoft PPM. And whilst most of you will be familiar with the Microsoft Project solution, you'll see that it's supported by a suite of other solutions through Office 365 that support modern work management. So the agenda for this session, I'll start by introducing Wellington before providing a recap of Microsoft PPM the past. I'll then showcase the present and provide a light demo of Microsoft Project Online before delving into the future with Microsoft PPM roadmap. My contact details and useful links will be coming up at the end. Feel free to take notes, but again, as Kate said, we will be showing the slide deck and the video will be made available on the YouTube APM channel as well. So firstly, a bit about Wellington. Well, we've got offices here in the UK, in Ireland and in Spain, and our mission statement is to enable you to make a step change in your PPM maturity, and we achieve this through a number of related services helping you to do just that. So as an organization, we're not solely focused on the technology. We can help you to define your PPM strategy, help you to build your capability through APM accredited training, amongst other things, complete delivery of everything from templates to maturity assessments, and of course, we can implement and deploy Microsoft PPM, as well as a range of other associated solutions from Microsoft. We also run the annual State of Project Management report, which presents a quite a significant piece of research each year and provides valuable, free-to-access data for everyone in our industry. You can take part in this year's survey, which actually closes in 3 days, but you can follow the link displayed, and by completing the survey, you're entered into a prize draw and you could win one of 9 amazing prizes. And lastly, we also run Future PMO, which is a one-day PMO event with a difference. The theme this year being Secret Agents, as you can tell by the title. And you can find out more and book early bird tickets up until the 31st of December at futurepmo.com. We have quite a few accreditations and partnerships, but I won't go through the entire list. However, I will say that we are Microsoft Gold accredited partners with the project and portfolio management competency, and also APM accredited training providers through which we provide the PMO practitioner course, assurance practitioner and legal project management courses, as well as the APM project fundamentals qualification. We've got quite an eclectic mix of clients that span sectors, industries, and even continents. A growing list of case studies is available on our website. The link for that is displayed on the screen at the moment. Okay, that's enough about Wellington. So let's talk about Microsoft PPM, past, present, and future, which, being a Trekkie, is represented by the wonderful Starship Enterprise, which I absolutely love. So again, we're going to start with the past. And this is where it all began. The year is 1984 and Microsoft Project version 1.00 is released, and this is what it looked like. I don't know how many of you can relate, but this is where it all started. And to help put this into perspective, in 1984 we saw the release of some other all-time classics as well, such as Ghostbusters, Terminator, the original Karate Kid, so you know it's got quite a bit of maturity behind it. And then in the year 2000, Microsoft took a step towards enterprise project management and extended the Microsoft Project Desktop client with Project Central, which would go on to become Project Server in 2003. And 10 years later, in 2013, Project Online emerged within Office 365, which many of you might have access to our platform right now. And as it's in the cloud and provided as software as a service, users have been able to benefit from frequent enhancements, both from a back-end performance perspective and in terms of features such as resource engagements, agile capability, planner integration, and most recently Project Home, which we will see shortly as part of a live demo. I should also point out that whilst I'm primarily focused on Project Online today and the cloud, that Project Server is available as well, and it delivers pretty much the same core capabilities, but through a on-premise deployment. So if you want to be on-premise, that's not a problem. Project Server is available to do that. Just before delving into the live demo of Project Online to show what's possible right now in the present, here you can see an overview of the full end-to-end capability that you can access through Project Online, which provides support right from ideas capture or ideation through to planning, execution, and delivery, and everything in between as well. During the demo, I'll showcase how you can further enhance collaboration through Microsoft Teams and improve reporting through Power BI, all of which, again, are available within Office 365 and work very nicely with Project Online, which is good for us, which is what actually we're about to see. However, just before the demo, I do want to point out that Project Online is built on SharePoint, and it's really an extension of the desktop solution Microsoft Project Professional, which many of you might be familiar with, and I'm going to refer to that as the client application, as you can see on the screen right now. There is obviously the browser interface, which will really form the basis of the demo. Through Project Online, what you're essentially doing is moving away from silos, which is what you would have just by using the client application. And through Project Online, you essentially get a joined up big picture view. So rather than saving MPP files locally, you're publishing them to Project Online and removing a lot of the manual work around governance, reporting, resource management, and so on. And we're about to see in action now, actually. So I'm going to go on to the demo. However, due to time constraints, the demo will be more of a teaser to highlight some of the existing capability rather than a comprehensive deep dive. However, I will be sharing some links at the end, as I mentioned earlier, which will include links to various videos that provide more of a detailed look into some of the capabilities and perform a bit of a deep dive around resource management, reporting, governance, or project prioritization. So talking about the demo, I'm going to jump over to my demo environment, and this is really the homepage to Office 365, which again might be familiar to some of you if you've got Office 365. Along the top, it's displaying a range of apps, which I've got licenses to access. I can also see recently shared documents. But if you have got Project Online, then you see this project icon. And when you click onto that, it takes you to this screen. Now, this is really the first take of this screen. This is Project Home. And what I'm seeing on here is a list of some of the recent projects that I've been opening or working on. And I've also got the ability to pin some of my favorites along the top. So this is really an extension of what you already get in Office 365, which actually displays some of your most recent documents or other items. This is a feature that's going to be developed further, and I will cover that off as part of the future roadmap presentation in a few short minutes. So from here, what we're going to do is go to Project Web App, which is actually the home page and the entry point to Microsoft Project Online. This is what we see on the screen at the moment, and look and feel wise, you can apply your own company's branding. So you can have your logos, your own colors, your own background images. I'm logged in as a super user, so I can see pretty much every single option available under the sun. Of course, we can tailor this depending on what type of user you are. If you're, a team member, you might only see one or two tiles. If you're a project manager, you might see a few more. If you are the head of an enterprise PMO, then of course you will see even more again. I'm not going to go through this in great detail, but along the top you have got a variety of tiles that enable you to access the project portfolio, show you how many approvals are incoming that need to be reviewed. You can also see the number of new tasks assigned, so lots of reminders. And we've also got the ability to go in and create projects off the back of these templates called enterprise project types. These are example templates. You can create as many bespoke templates as you want, but would actually provide the end user with a schedule template. You could also within the template include a workflow to guide somebody through the project lifecycle and ensure the governance is being enforced as appropriate. What I'm going to do from here is actually go into the project center, which is a view that actually gives you a real-time joined up picture of the project portfolio. On this particular screen, again, you can select from a number of different views, and you get quite a few out of the box, but you can also build your own views as well. To talk through this really briefly, along the top, we have the timeline view showing me some of my key initiatives, and at the bottom, I've got a breakdown of all the projects that I have permission to view. Against them, I can see things such as project ID, the project manager's red, amber, green view of how the project is performing. I've got various icons that indicate that there is a schedule in place for our issues, risks, or associated documents. I'm also seeing a breakdown of all the projects, and they're being grouped by department, first of all, and then by where they're sitting in the life cycle. But again, you could view them by department, by location, by client, by sponsor. There's literally no limitation to the number of views that you can create. The system also gives you a very objective view by comparing the baseline of a project to the subsequent updates, and it gives you these red, amber, green traffic light indicators against schedule, work, cost, or any other KPIs that you might want to build in, just to show you how the project's performing according to the computer, should we say. You've also got access to the high-level Gantt charts there on the right-hand side. And again, as I mentioned earlier, this is the present. This is what you can access right now. You could make use of Project Online immediately by switching it on and obviously getting it configured. What you can also do from here is actually drill down into the projects to get further insight. So if I select that project there, I'm going to drill down into it. And the page that it's opened up on is the most recent page that I had open, which happened to be the schedule. So there I'm seeing the schedule breakdown. That's the work breakdown structure. I can see the Gantt chart. I can see what's on the critical path. And on a task-by-task basis, I can see red, amber, green from a work, schedule, and a cost perspective. And similarly to the previous screen, again, you've got the ability to go in and select from different views that you either get out of the box or you can build yourself. We also have a bit of a workflow status page that actually indicates and shows us very clearly where in the life cycle the project's sitting and what actions need to take place at each appropriate stage. But that's a bit of an overview of what you actually get within the project itself. Now, each project within the system also has a project site associated against it. So Project Online being built on SharePoint, we can leverage some of that SharePoint capability. And again, each project has this project site. It's where you obviously see the title of the project. You can see the timeline view. We can also see issues, risks being displayed, change items, action items. So that is the project site. But again, I'm going to keep this quite brief because I do want to show you as much as possible in the time that we have available. So what I'm going to do is jump over to the resource center. So yes, as well as giving you project templates, as well as giving you shared visibility of the project portfolio, Project Online also includes an enterprise resource pool. So in one pool, I've got all of my resources listed out. And against these resources, I can add various attributes. Attributes could be things like job title, day rates, location, departmental alignment, any attribute you can think of. You can also group them by teams. Now, what I've done is I've selected some random individuals because I want to see what they're working on. Now, because all of the plans that we're creating within Microsoft Project are resource loaded, we can see straight away what the demand looks like versus capacity. So these are some of the visual views that you get out of the box. This is resource utilization. We see the capacity line at the top. We then see the subsequent work that's been assigned to the individuals there at the bottom, and the white in between is showing us that we actually have more capacity. We've also got views like remaining availability, which are really, really quite useful. And of course, you can apply different filters and look at the information at different levels of granularity. Underpinning all of this data is obviously a Microsoft Project plan. So here now in the foreground, I've actually got Microsoft Project, whereas in the background, we have Project Online, and the two of them work in unison. And on this plan, I can see my tasks again, but equally, I see a breakdown of all the resources, and we can see Skype or Teams presence information being displayed, telling us who's online, who's not, who's busy. So again, we get lots of visibility. And we, as well as having access to these Gantt views, we've also got views like the task board. So if you've got teams that want to work in an agile way, they can do that. And we do have a range of corresponding reports, which I'm not going to demonstrate right now because I am going to be showing you Power BI. And in fact, that's what I'm going to go on to now. So as part of Project Online, there is a out-of-the-box reporting pack from Microsoft. It's in fact called a content pack, and it resides here within Power BI. And Power BI is, again, one of those applications and one of those solutions that's available within Office 365. And the best way to describe Power BI is it's a bit like Excel, but it's Excel on steroids. So out of the box, you get this dashboard. This is a bit of a collective overview of the entire portfolio. Bit of a helicopter bird's eye view showing me the total project count, resource count, number of active risks and issues. You can also go in and ask questions about the data. So there doesn't have to be a predefined report in place for you to view the data. You can simply type in the questions and away you go. So I might want to see, show me cost variance by project name. And on the fly, it's literally built that report. And if I don't like that visualization, I can change it to anything that I want. So there's a tree map, but we could equally go into a pie chart. But again, for now, I'm going to skip out of this and whiz through some of the other standard out-of-the-box reports to give you visibility. And after this, what I'm going to show you is what we call the PMO portal, which is something that acts as an intranet for the PMO function. And gives you access to lessons learned and other relevant logs as well. And after Power BI, I'll also show you some Microsoft Teams just to show you how you can actually glue all of that together. So this is a portfolio dashboard, total project count, number of projects sitting in each governance phase, and it's all interactive. We also have projects by type. So the highest number of project types that we have sit within application development. If I click on that, the entire report updates to reflect projects in that particular area, as well as the data there on the left-hand side. I am going to skip some of these reports. I do have other videos that do provide more of a deep dive into this particular area, but I will show you a few. There's a high-level timeline overview of some of the projects that are in flight. We also have resource heat maps being displayed. And one final report that I'm going to show you links to project status and effectively replaces any manual project highlight reporting that you might do. So as well as seeing what you see on the screen at the moment, this information obviously being derived from the schedule, from the project site as well, and some of the other electronic forms that we might be completing. It's generated automatically, so as long as the PMs are keeping their plans and other information and other artifacts up to date, the reports are picking up the latest data, which is quite nice, and it's quite a big time saver. And if you read some of the case studies on our website, you will see some stats around the cost savings or the time savings the clients have made. So that was Power BI, really versatile, and you can also get this as well as on your Windows device. You can also get this on your mobile devices. So whether you're using an iPad or an Android device, if you go to the relevant app stores, there's a Power BI app that's available and gives you all of this, but on your mobile device. Something else that organizations are starting to use increasingly is Teams. So Teams, again, available as part of Office 365, enables you to create different groups. And one of the groups that we've created here is around the PMO portal. And within this, I can see conversations that are going on within the PMO. I would be able to go and access any files that have been shared by the PMO. Equally, I can go into the project center. So I've actually embedded Project Online within Teams, and I could maximize this if I wanted to, but I can navigate around and have a look at all of the data as appropriate. So going into a project, again, I'm navigating around as if I was actually using the browser. Aside from this, you've also got Power BI embedded. So again, this is Power BI now within Teams, but it's the same report that we were looking at in the browser just a few moments ago. And aside from this, we've also got the PMO portal, which I referred to earlier, and I will maximize the screen at this point just to show you what this looks like. So this is built, again, on SharePoint. It's using the modern UI interface. And on here, I can see latest news items. I can see upcoming community events. I can see who makes up the team along the top as well. And if I go back to the browser, you can see that we've also got extended menus there on the left-hand side where I can access documentation, but I've also got access to various management logs, including lessons learned, benefits, and I've also got a OneNote embedded within that as well. So this is something that you can create today. You don't have to wait for the future roadmap to materialize what we have in place in terms of Project Online, Teams, Power BI, and Office 365 as it currently stands. really does help you to better manage your project portfolio, and it gives you that visibility that's often lacking in many organizations. So going back to my slides now, I'm going to have a look at project and discuss how it's been reimagined. So that was the present, but let's look to the future of Microsoft PPM. So meet project. Microsoft's mission is really to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. And an area of real focus in recent years has been to drive towards modern workplace through Office 365. And as announced at the recent Microsoft Ignite 2018 event, there's a new vision for modern work management with Microsoft Project. And this is going to be through the introduction of 3 new services: Project Home, which we looked at briefly earlier. There's a brand new project service and a solution called Roadmap, which we're going to be taking a look at shortly. First, however, let's understand the modern work management ecosystem, which is built on the Microsoft Cloud platform. So starting at the top of the modern work management hierarchy, we have the Enterprise PMO, which operates at a strategic level, ensures the projects and portfolio activities are aligned to the defined objectives and delivering value. So to support the ePMO at the portfolio level, we have Microsoft Project Online, the premium plan, and Roadmap, which you're going to see in just a minute. And both of those combined provide the strategic enterprise view that's needed at that level. Then you have the PMO, and that might have been set up to manage or meet program and project-specific deliverables rather than having that strategic focus. And the focus here tends to be on execution of a portfolio. They too can benefit through Project Online and gain a clear, consolidated view of their recent items through Project Home, but obviously they can do all of the other things that I demonstrated before as well. Then you have project teams, and they need to be able to collaborate and communicate effectively, and they are supported through Microsoft Project, Planner, and Teams, again, all within Office 365. Lastly, the modern work management ecosystem wants really to eradicate silos and foster integrated business processes, and does this through a range of solutions that are available through Office 365 and the Common Data Service. To reiterate, I will be providing some useful links at the end which provide more detail on what I've covered so far. But for now, let's look at the new services. So we saw the current incarnation of Project Home earlier, and to reiterate, it provides the end user with a consolidated view of recent items. At the moment, however, all the recent items are from Project Online, but looking ahead, it'll include items from Planner, Azure DevOps, and the project service. So keep an eye on the Office 365 roadmap. The link for that is coming up at the end. So this is the new roadmap service, and it's actually in the process of being rolled out right now. It's not hit my Office 365 tenant as I speak, otherwise I would have demonstrated it today, but it is in the process of being rolled out, and it provides a high-level view of work streams, programs, or mini portfolios. The great thing about Roadmap is that it will show you a consolidated view of the work, regardless of which solution the task list or the projects are being managed in. So there's immediate support for Microsoft Project Online once Roadmap is obviously available. Azure DevOps as well, formerly known as VSTS, and the project service when it's available. Now, the key thing here, though, is that future releases are going to see support for Planner and, importantly, for third-party services like Jira as well. So this is really, I guess, the biggest aspect of the new services, and this is the project service, which is scheduled for release during mid-2019. And it isn't simply a new version of Project Online. It's actually a brand new service that's going to be built on the Microsoft Common Data Service for apps. And it's going to offer a brand new interface. It's going to offer a brand new user experience for both professional and, importantly, accidental project managers. And by accidental project managers, I'm referring to those individuals that are probably subject matter experts rather than being experienced project managers who've got experience in Microsoft Project, but they happen to find themselves in a position where they're managing a project. So the project service is also going to make available features such as co-authoring, which is the kind of thing that you can already do on Word or Excel on the online services that you get through Office 365. And available 2 is going to be a brand new enterprise resource management experience. And of course, project managers will still be able to continue using Microsoft Project Desktop alongside the brand new project service. And at this stage, it's envisaged that it will run alongside Project Online. But again, I should reiterate that Project Online is available now. And you're going to see on the next slide is that if you already have Project Online, or if you're about to deploy it and you have the licenses, then you will get access to the brand new services as and when they become available. So you don't have to buy additional licenses to access Project Home or to access the brand new project service. If you've got Project Online licensing, you get those additional solutions as and when they get released. So I would repeat that if you've got a need for a robust, fully featured PPM solution that's future-proofed, then Project Online should really be at the top of your list. So let's talk about next steps. If you'd like to learn more, we can provide you with a bespoke demo or arrange an on-site discovery day to help you to plan out your roadmap. Alternatively, if you want to dip your toe into the water and maybe conduct a proof of concept, then we can provide you with 25 Project Online trial licenses and guide you through the process. And importantly, if your organization has a Microsoft Enterprise agreement in place, then you probably have access to SharePoint Deployment Planning Service vouchers, otherwise known as FDPS vouchers. And if you do have those vouchers, then you can exchange those for consultancy services to guide you through that discovery exercise or that proof of concept. And lastly, if you've decided to implement Project Online and you want to understand how we could assist, then all you need to do is get in touch using the details that are coming up. And here is my contact information, so feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and to follow Wellington on LinkedIn as well. We have lots of updates going out on a regular basis. You can learn more about Future PMO by following the link. Early bird pricing is available until the 31st of December, after which the price then obviously goes up. And that event, by the way, is taking place on October the 17th, 2019. It might seem like it's a long way away, but it's not that far away, actually. And there's also a link on there if you'd like more details on Microsoft Project with further relevant links that are going to be on the last slide that I'll present in just a moment. As Kate mentioned at the beginning, the deck is going to be shared. Any questions that we receive, we will respond to in writing. But in closing, really, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you all for your time this afternoon. I hope that you found the session useful. There's so much that we can cover, but I wanted to make this a short session so that you've got time to finish off your sandwiches. Here is the final screen with all of the relevant links. Again, thank you very much, and wishing you all a very Merry Christmas and all the best for 2019. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Baz. Thank you to everyone who's attended today, and a special thank you to Baz for the presentation. You'll receive an email within the next few days with a link to the webinar recording as soon as we've finished editing it. This email will also include a request for your feedback, which is hugely valued to us. Thank you again for your attendance and have a great afternoon.